Sanjay, a question for you. What is it like going through this tournament knowing that each and every game could potentially be the last one you play in a Northwestern uniform?
It's crazy to think about. Being a fifth-year senior, that's a reality I obviously face, and just been playing it as a regular game. Just got to stay in character. Can't do anything crazy because that's a possibility that could be my last game, and just playing it as the most important game of our season. And that's what we've done really all March as a team too. Approaching every game as the most important game, and just locking in for it. And whatever happens, happens.
Fifth row back.
Dave on at WGN in Chicago. Derek, Coach talked after the game about your work ethic. You're the young guy in this group. Can you describe a little bit about how you got better at the free throw line and your overall work ethic and where that comes from?
I think a lot of it comes from just my upbringing. My parents really instilled, a hard work mentality into me. And so, I just carried that over into college. And especially my freshman year, when I redshirted the half of the non-conference year. So I really, just worked every day and just building my habits.
Okay, fourth row right here, please.
Ian McCafferty, Insight on You. How are you guys going to go about sort of slowing down or guarding Nigel Williams-Goss, their leading scorer, tomorrow?
Yeah, it's certainly going to be a tough task, and first thing we have to do is keep him out of transition as best we can and corral him. He's a one-man fast break, so that'll be our first focus coming back on defense, and then we got to try and gap it up and get out to their shooters when he kicks it. But yeah, it's a tough task. He's one of the best players in the country, so. Individually, I think Vic will probably draw the assignment, so he'll have to do a good initial job, and then it's our job to help him. It's team defense, so we have a tough task.
I'd say something to add to that also. Obviously, they have great length and size, and shooting good shots is vital. Can't throw up shots on the glass that will start their fast break for them, and especially they have the fast break without that. But if we throw up bad shots, it will really get it going for them.
Okay, fourth row, George.
George Smith, Fox 32 Chicago. A question for all of you guys. From the outside looking in, a lot of people are making this out to be a David versus Goliath type of thing. How do each of you view the matchup?
Go ahead.
We just see this as an opportunity. Obviously, Gonzaga is a great team. They're a #1 seed, and we fully respect them. But this is an opportunity for us to make history once again, just as we've done. No one expected us to win last game. No one even expects us to be in this tournament. And that's our mindset right now. And we just got another opportunity in front of us, tomorrow, and we're going to take it.
Yeah, and I just add on to that they're one of the best teams in the country. So you kind of understand that narrative that people are trying to give off, and I would be okay with being the David in this situation. Just from my upbringing, I understand the backstory of that one. So, that would mean a lot to everybody in the program, and I think it would be a great story for the country. But it's going to be tough. It's not going to just be one stone that we have to throw in order to beat them. We're going to have to play a really great 40 minutes and try and keep them out of transition, try and limit their paint touches, and keep them off the boards. So it's going to be a really tough task. They're a really good team.
Second row.
David Hoffman, Chicago Tribune. Last night, Coach Collins talked about how he believed you guys, this team, dealt with pressure as much as any team in the country because of the constant questions in the 78 years and all of those things that you guys are well aware of. How, looking back, how heavy was that weight, and when did you feel it lift?
When we went our little couple game skid, of course it got real heavy for us. We worked so hard, for just the season, to go down the drain. All of us didn't want that, and I think the game that really the weight was lifted was Michigan game. That was just a great experience for not only the team but the whole Wildcat community. It just uplifted everybody's spirits, and it was just a great game for us.
And Derek, it was a great experience for Derek.
Front row right here, please.
Steve Greenberg, Chicago Sun-Times. for anybody who wants to answer it, but I'm thinking of Derek. First time you lay eyes on Karnowski, whether it's in person or, watching a video, compared with first time you lay eyes on Isaac Haas from Purdue, who looks just bigger? Who looks just more impossibly large? I just saw Karnowski in the hallway, couldn't believe it.
Well, Haas is, is a pretty big guy. You see him a couple times a year. He's kind of built like an action figure. So, just real big and muscular. So Karnowski's kind of a little more heavy-set guy. They're both good players. I feel like they kind of played a similar game. They're good players.
Front row in.
Amy Donaldson from the Deseret News. There's about 30 former players, Northwestern players here. Have you guys had any contact with any of them, or anybody offered you any advice that played in the program before you?
Yeah, there's been some players that we saw yesterday. Billy McKinney was at our hotel. He was here for the meal. Tavares Hardy, one of the old players, was here yesterday. Kevin Coble, he was a player. Saw him yesterday, and it's just great to all the players I've played here in the past have had a part in this, and it's great to not only do this for ourselves, but we're doing this for them, making them feel as part of this as much as possible, and just what we've been doing is really special, and none of us want it to end.
Okay, third row right here, please.
Ben Pope, Daily Northwestern. What did you guys learn yesterday about handling the pressure and the jitters of playing in the tournament, and how can you apply that tomorrow?
Yeah, I think we handled the pressure pretty well. We got off to a great start, I thought, and we played pretty well in the first half. Got to try and avoid foul trouble, but that happens. That's just part of the game. But we also understand that in March, the games are going to come down to the last couple possessions, last few minutes. So it's how you finish the game. It's about toughness and gritty work and making winning plays. So that's where the pressure really can set in, is in the last couple minutes, and not letting it eat you alive and not making the moment bigger than what it is. It's just a game, but it's something we all love to do and care about to a great amount, especially with the guys that we have with us on this team, and we want to go out and do it for each other. So that's kind of what we look to. We look to each other and find strength in one another, and as a group, we go out and try and accomplish something great.
Your back row.
Sean Walker, KSL Salt Lake City. Brian, you touched on this a little bit yesterday after the game, but for all three of you, have you been surprised by the number of fans that are here in Salt Lake City? I mean, there's a lot of purple in the hotels and the restaurants in downtown Salt Lake, that kind of thing. Has it surprised any of you guys?
I think it's a little bit surprising, but when you do something for the first time, I think you're going to get a following that's a little different than what you're accustomed to. So it's nice to have that following, and I think our athletic department has done a great job of supporting us as well. They brought out a charter flight of like sports medicine and a lot of other staff at Northwestern to come support us. So it's not only that, but just alumni and just coming to want to be a part and see the first ever, and it's special, and we're really excited that they were able to join us and feel a part of this.
I could also say for me especially, but I think all of us, I felt like it hit us the most when we were in the NCAA Tournament and everything, when we came on the court for the first time yesterday, and we saw how much love our fans had and all the support. It was really unbelievable to look up in the stands and hear the chants about us, and it was it was just awesome to be obviously in that moment and just being here and knowing that our fans have our back like that. It was awesome.
Okay, Randy.
Randy Hollis, Deseret News. Brian, just to piggyback on that, how much of a factor was that crowd that was in your favor yesterday? How much did that help you guys down the stretch, and do you anticipate that being hopefully a factor in your favor tomorrow?
Definitely. First off, the crowd last night helped us tremendously, especially when they made that run in the second half. I thought we were a little bit tired at that point, so to have their energy kind of feed us and give us energy was really beneficial. And then, obviously tomorrow we'd like to see that same backing and maybe a little bit more purple. Maybe have a little bit of other fans jump on the underdog. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that we want, and I think it could help us But I mean, obviously, a crowd doesn't win you a game. It's the guys on the floor, but they can do and go a long ways to help us.
Second row.
Brian, how do you avoid letting the feeling creep in that, okay, you look at it, no matter what happens tomorrow, the season is going to be a success based on what happened yesterday, and that maybe, you know, are you concerned at all about the intensity not being there? Maybe you feel like the satisfaction seeping in at all?
Yeah, I don't think that'll be a problem with our group. You know, we came here to win, so we're not a group that is going to get fat and happy with the things we've accomplished, because otherwise we wouldn't be where we're at right now. We would have won the Michigan game and tailed off the rest of the year, but instead I think we're playing our best basketball, and this group wants to continue to play. We have a special group, and you just never know. As we talked about a little bit before, the message from Coach Collins was Dan Marino getting to the Super Bowl his rookie year and then never getting back. Nothing's guaranteed, and that's kind of what we are like talking about constantly in our locker room, is just taking advantage of the moment and enjoying it.
Okay, Amy.
How much have you all had a chance to take in any other games, any other tournament games? And if so, do you have a favorite game that you watched or moment?
I would say we've been out watching the games at the hotel and everything. Haven't really seen anything here at the arena, but the game I watched the most was the Notre Dame Princeton game yesterday, and I thought that shot was going in at the end. But you know, it's obviously exciting to watch every game. It's just great to see great basketball. Every game is close, no matter who's playing, and you're just seeing, you know, teams fighting for their lives out there. It's really, you know, it's great to see.
Fifth row.
Dave Zera, ESPN, for any of you guys. Gonzaga reminds you, like who, that you've played this season, if anyone?
What we've talked about is how they, you know, kind of resemble Purdue. For us, they have obviously, you know, great wings and, you know, guys that can shoot the ball. And if we stop them in transition, they have size and they can go to their guys in the post. And you know, we face that a lot with Purdue, with both Swanigan and Haas, and you know, we feel like we have a game plan ready for that.
Okay, fifth row.
Defensively, how does Gonzaga stack up to maybe the toughest competition you guys have played so far?
You know, they're a pretty good defensive team. You know, they're big inside, so they can alter a lot of shots. You know, I think what Brian touched on earlier, Sanjay, we can't, you know, give them dumb shots. You know, we can't shoot running hooks or anything that can start their fast breaks. You know, I think their defense is a good way to start their offense, so I feel like we just can't, you know, give them easy rebounds or easy shots.
A lot of the storylines from yesterday's game have been not about you guys winning, but more about the foul and that sort of thing. Does that give you extra motivation to win this next game and prove that you can win without this sort of overshadowing gaffe on the record?
You know, I would say, yeah, it does give us extra motivation. I mean, everyone wants to talk about the foul, but you know, they don't want to talk about, you know, the plays that we made down the stretch, the plays that, you know, BMAC made, the free throws that Derek made, the game that Scotty had. But, you know, that's something we faced, and that's something that I've faced all the time I've been at Northwestern, where everything's been overshadowed. And, I mean, that's absolutely extra motivation. And, you know, it's going to be a huge game for us, and we're going to be ready on Saturday, and, you know, who knows.
I'd also add that while it is a little bit of motivation, we also can't focus on the narrative that was the last game. If we're so worried about that, then, you know, we're playing one of the best teams in the country. That's not something we can worry about. We have to worry about trying to do our best job of taking away the things that they like to do. So while it is a little bit of motivation, you know, we're here. We're in the round of 32 with a chance to have a great victory to go to the Sweet 16. So, you know, that fouling at the end was that's just part of the game. Mistakes happen throughout a game. It's not something that caused them to lose. You know, there's a lot of different plays that could have went their way that it would have allowed them to win. So it's not something that we're too worried about, but it is a little bit of motivation.
Front row.
Kind of on the note of the last question, although you just said you don't want to live in that moment of the last game, but you didn't get your chance to go down and try to hit a winning shot, you know, a real thrill in the NCAA tournament. What do you guys think would have happened if not for that foul? How did you see that thing playing out?
I mean, I think BMAC would have gone down and probably scored just like he did right before that. And you know, we all have confidence in him to do that, and made some huge plays down the stretch yesterday. And you know, I was obviously we're all surprised that, you know, the foul happened, but you know, there's no question in my mind that I think BMAC would have went down and scored.
I would have called a Brian McIntosh pull-up jumper. You know.
Probably a floater, but yeah, probably something like that.
I'd say floater. I would say floater.
Okay, we have time for one more question for our student athletes. Okay, right there, please.
Just an off chance, but did you happen to run into Fisher Davis at the end or somewhere in the hallways? Did you have a chance to talk to him?
No, I wasn't able to run into him, but you certainly feel bad for him. A lot of the talk has been about his foul, so I know that has to be a terrible situation, a terrible feeling to have, to know your season ended and to have a lot of the blame put on you when the game's played 40 minutes, not in the last 2. There's a lot of mistakes that were made throughout the game that could have changed the outcome and not even brought up that play possibly. So, you know, it's unfortunate and you just feel bad for him.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you.
Thank you.